So it's a really interesting ecological process that is having to be dealt with by all of these agencies and all of these different groups. And of course the farmers, the grower groups, they're fighting for every drop of this water that's coming down on this precipitation gig. They want to take that surface water and they want to use it all because it just converts directly into dollars. I mean, every acre of orchard out there is worth somewhere in the neighborhood of $8,000 to $10,000 an acre. And the crop could be worth a couple of $1,000s a year per acre coming off of that field. They have a lot invested. And to give up water to an acre of orchard is to give up a lot of money. And they don't want to do that. On the other side, the fisheries people are saying, hey, we want to reestablish a Chinook salmon run in the Walla Walla River. Now, can you have the best of both worlds? Well, maybe you can, maybe you can't. That's the issue. That's the great debate. And who's going to win? Well, nobody knows who's going to win that battle yet. Right now, it's kind of like possession is 9/10 of the law, and those irrigators aren't giving up their water. And they have the infrastructure to take it, and they're taking it. And it's going to continue to be that way until the federal marshals are out here enforcing it differently. You know, they've had some interesting situations like this. The drought of 1977. Some of us are old enough to remember that. Some of us in this room weren't even born in 1977. But that was the last severe drought in the Northwest. And it hit the Yakima Basin really hard. And there are a number of irrigation districts in on the Yakima River system. I think there's 14 different districts. And they all have different priorities. Well, the one with the least priority is called the Rosa. It was the last district to go in. They have the lowest water rights. They're the last one on the food chain. You know, they're down there. They're the little minnows that are getting eaten first. And so they shut those guys off. The water master come in, the State Department of Ecology come in, they said, we're shutting off the Rosa. I mean, you're talking, I don't know, maybe a sixth or a fifth of the whole Yakima Valley. Lost all their water. And what are they growing? They're growing apples, grapes, peaches, pears, cherries, all these crops that are worth thousands of dollars an acre. And these farmers are going, you cannot do that. We're going to lose our whole investment. All these perennial crops, you know, an annual crop you just lose 1 year. A perennial crop, you've lost 4 or 5 years to develop that crop to where it's producing, and you'll kill it all in one season. It's gone. You got to start all over and go over a 4 or 5 year process again to get it back up to where you're in production. Plus that huge expense of replanting it. So they went out. The state put the locks on the gates that sent water down the Rosa. They locked her up tighter than a wedge. Well, that night, the farmers went and cut the locks and opened the gates. So they went and brought the sheriff in, and the sheriff met stiff resistance from the local farmers. So they called in the National Guard. And they brought, and then a farmer decided, well, you know, my bulldozer can push his Jeep right out of here. Took that thing right out, and all of a sudden there was confrontation. And I mean, it was ready. They're ready for a little water war. And the farmers were about as well armed as the military. In fact, you know, the Guard, they don't really carry live ammo, I don't believe. They're just there in body. And these farmers, they were ready to start sniping. So they come up with an agreement, and they said, hey, okay, you do have a point. They let them enough water run down the Rosa to keep the perennial crops alive. And so they reached an agreement over a very heated and very testy situation at literally the peak of the moment. And a very quick negotiation occurred within a couple of days. And in the process, they were letting water down the Rosa. And they ended up with somewhere 40 to 50% of their normal allocation. And then the people in the Rosa then had to agree on who got how much water and what crops they would keep alive and which ones they would let go. And but the Yakima River basin is way over allocated. They got way more acres being irrigated than in a lot of years the stream can handle. And they do have some big storages. They have some big reservoirs up in the Cascade Mountains on that particular river system that are storing water in the wintertime and then releasing it during the summer. But that was a year where there was very low snowpack and then very little precipitation during the season. It was a disastrous year. And the stream flows were very, very low. It had happened, this whole Northwest got hit that way. It didn't matter where you lived. They rationed water in Seattle and other big cities in the area, Portland. I mean, it was pretty bizarre what went on.